Welcome to Deed and Truth, a podcast exploring loving God and loving our neighbor, not just in words, but also in actions, and with the Bible as the source and standard of truth. I'm your host, Tommy Morris. We're a solid 2.5 weeks into 2022. Was looking to record last week and discuss 2022 and the kind of the look ahead episode. However, I was a little under the weather and was not able to record, so glad to be back in the studio today and just share some of the things that myself and my family are looking forward to for this year, praying about some different aspects for ministry, some things that we're looking to do with the podcast, and just to share those things with you and just ask you to join with us in prayer about these things and to keep us in your prayers. So I'm not real big on New Year's resolutions, and by not real big, I mean like not at all, really. The word resolution to me, while in and of itself not bad, I mean, I think it just has become watered down. I think it's something that people say just kind of off the cuff or even tongue-in-cheek at times. A lot of times you hear the same kind of resolutions, I'm going to be a better person, I'm going to do more good, or I'm going to be healthier, I'm going to set up myself for financial freedom, or I'm going to be more, financially responsible, or I'm going to save towards this or that or the other. You would even hear within Christian circles, I'm going to read the Bible through in a year, I'm going to pray more. These are very common things, I think, that we hear that are made as resolutions year after year. And the thing is that with resolutions, there can sometimes become that kind of legalistic mindset. And as soon as we get off course a little bit, we can become defeated and we just give up and we just stop. This can be true for like the Bible reading, like reading through the Bible in a year. You miss 3 or 4 days and all of a sudden you feel like, well, there's no way I'm going to catch up because I'm sure I'll miss, other days throughout the year. And then instead of just sticking with it and saying, okay, hey, maybe I'll finish with half or 75%, it's almost like, well, if we can't see it through to 100%, we'll just stop and we get discouraged. And I mean, it could be the same thing with being healthy. We are faced, I'd say for a lot of us, we were faced with like the Super Bowl right after making this resolution to be healthy. A month later, it's Super Bowl Sunday and, you want to spend the weekend eating football food, right? And so that can kind of derail things. And then it's easy to, grub out on fried food and wings and pizza and all these things. And then one day is 2 and 2 is 3 weeks and 3 weeks is the rest of the year. And so these resolutions, it's very easy to get off track. And so, we've been looking at, instead of resolutions, just what are some commitments that we want to make for the year, and what measures can we put in place to see these commitments through. My wife and I, one of the things we do is we write these things down. We actually have some areas in our room where we write things down to keep them in front of us and just to pray for those things on a nightly or weekly basis, to discuss them with one another, to kind of discuss where we are with them. With various goals or things that we're praying about or thinking about or wanting to accomplish. So that's one of the things that we do, but just also just being open with other people and saying, hey, here's something I'm doing, can you hold me accountable? We talked about that in our men's group this past Saturday morning. We had our men's breakfast and we all just shared, some different things that we are praying about. And there was that element of encouraging one another to, let's all hold each other accountable to these things. Let's encourage one another. Let's pray for one another and be there throughout the year. So I just want to share some of the things. First, I'll discuss about me personally. One of the things that I've never accomplished, because it's always been a resolution that I've given up on pretty early on, is I've never read the Bible through in a year. I've never just sat down and read the Bible through. I've read a lot of the Bible, but I don't even know if I could say that I've read every single book of the Bible through. I don't know that I have. I can't remember, honestly, and I hate to say that. I mean, I feel like for where I am in life, growing up a preacher's kid, being 44 years old. That's something I would have done by now, but I don't know that I have. And so this year I've just wanted to commit to do that. And in doing it, one of the things that I'm doing to help is I have other people that I've talked to about this desire and to have them hold me accountable. But I'm writing questions as I'm reading or listening to the Word. I'm writing out questions from each passage that I'm reading, and so that there is this study element to it of more than just kind of, I want to say mindless reading, but just kind of reading through to check off a box, because that's, I've done that in the past where I've just kind of read through and check, did today's, whatever. But then eventually get off track and then never finish for the year. But this year, that's one of the things that I'm doing differently is I'm being very intentional to write out questions about whatever it is I'm reading for the day. And so that is one of the things that I'm wanting to do. But that is actually a part of a bigger challenge that I took on this year. And that I actually put out on some of my personal social media, Facebook and Twitter, is doing a reading challenge, actually. So I actually committed to do the 2022 G3 reading challenge this year with G3 Ministries up outside of Atlanta, Georgia. And they put out a challenge, and it was neat. I mean, there's various categories. I'll share the link in the show notes, but there are various categories to choose from. And essentially what it comes down to is you would read a reading plan, not necessarily read through the entire Bible in a year, but you would read some element of a reading plan, if it's the New Testament in a year or something else. And then there are 11 other categories. So you would read 11 other books. And G3 Ministries has been very impactful in my life, so I was very excited to join in on that. But also just the categories that they picked I found very interesting. There were things that I would have never thought to read through. So one of them is a hymnal. So I've actually started that, and it's just interesting to be able to read through these songs that people wrote in worship to the Lord, and it's just a different thing that I would have never thought to add to like a reading challenge for myself. There's another one of reading through a book of prayers. Don't know that I would have added that to a reading challenge for myself either, to read through prayers that other people have written to the Lord. So that's really neat, and I'm really excited to do that. So I'll definitely put that in the show notes. It's not too late in the year. If anybody wants to join in on the challenge, then I definitely encourage you to do that. So I'm excited about that. And what I'm going to be doing, and as part of the podcast, is that periodically throughout the year I'm not going to say every single thing I read, but with some of the books that I read for the challenge, I am going to commit to do bonus episodes where I just talk about some takeaway from the reading. I've actually already finished my first book. I read The Hiding Place by Corey ten Boom, and I have some takeaways from that I'm excited to share. My wife just finished it, and so we've kind of been comparing notes and discussing the book and some things that we really feel like God showed us in that and in her testimony. And so I'm excited to be able to do my first bonus episode to discuss that. Waiting to see if Helena is going to join me on that episode and share with me some from her takeaways as well. But either way, that will be one of the things that we'll be doing through the year. So the other thing was just to focus on being a doer of the word, not just a hearer or in many cases a reader, but a doer. So it's very easy for me to read books and gain a lot of knowledge. And so I'm just wanting to slow down a little bit this year, even in this reading challenge, to be very intentional to look at the application, the wisdom and application of the things that I'm reading in my life, in my daily living. And so that is definitely one of the things to focus on for 2022 for me personally, is just living out the truth of God's word. So for my family, we've got a lot of things that we're praying about right now. We've had some interesting things already to start off the year. My wife and I have started a new business, so we are kind of delving into that and just prayerful for how God is going to use it. It will be a wellness center that's going to offer like medical services, some Christian counseling, and we're looking at a few other services that we may be offering as well to the community. And so we are just in prayer as to exactly how that can be a ministry outreach within our community, how it can be a means to share the gospel with others, and we're also looking at how it can be utilized in regards to supporting missions. And so that is actually kind of the other thing that our family is in prayer about right now is just our involvement in missions. I mentioned on the last episode that was something we were praying about, and just something that we desired and wanted to move into and see exactly what God had for us in regards to being a part of missions. And it's something that we are getting into, I'd say, more talks as the year has started now, and looking at what we're going to do with that. The first thing right now is we are looking to do a mission trip in June, right towards the end of June, first part of July, to Zambia. So I'm very excited. My 15-year-old has expressed an interest to go. She actually turns 16 on that trip and expressed a desire to spend her 16th birthday in Africa while on the mission trip. And so I'm very excited to see what God does in her life. And our family is just, praying as to what else may come from that, and just what God may do from that trip going forward as far as how we are used in missions. And so we have a lot of things that we're praying about there, and some people that we're meeting with. We're really excited for some of the opportunities and just how God is going to move in that. And with that, I would say some of the news for the podcast is that missions will also be a focus there. So we are looking to have Ozzy Bloxon. He recorded with us back in the fall, I believe it was, maybe late summer. Ozzy he wasn't the first episode that I released, but he was the first episode that I recorded was with Ozzy, even though he wasn't the first one that I released. And he was about to go on a mission trip, actually within a couple weeks, I think, after we recorded. And I was able to share the episode with him, speaking about missions, and he's been doing it for 2 or 3 decades. I can't remember, 20, 30 years that he's been doing missions. And he shared of how he first got a heart for missions and how God first opened the door for him to do mission work, and just what it's looked like since then. So I'm excited to be able to have Ozzy back on here, hopefully soon, to share a follow-up from that fall mission trip and just exactly what God did in their lives over in Africa. I'm also going to be having Brian Chrisman on. He is the executive director over at Heart of the Bride Ministries in Niceville, Florida. They oversee a lot of mission work. And so we're excited to have him come on and just share some of his personal story with regards to his heart for missions, as well as Heart of the Bride and what they do as an organization. And so missions will definitely be a focus for 2022, and something that we want to highlight, and we want to let people know about different organizations and people that are out there that we are looking to support, that we are looking to pray for and lift up as they spread the gospel. So we're really excited about that. So those are some of the things that we have going on in 2022 that we are excited about. There are other things with the podcast we're going to be looking to do. We have a lot of topics that we want to discuss. Some of the topics that are going to be coming up this year to look forward to. We are going to have an episode on fear and anxiety. We are going to be discussing the religion of politics. We have one coming up actually next week on modern day idolatry with Pastor Randy Pittman. I'm excited about. So we will be releasing that next Monday. So we have a lot of other topics that we're excited to get into, the Great Commission, and we're going to do a little series on that and numerous other things. But if you have a topic that you would like to see us discuss here on Deed and Truth, please submit that. Email me, hit me up on social media. You can actually go on our website, deedandtruthpodcast.com, and you can leave a voicemail on there. There's actually a way to leave a voicemail with a question or a comment. So if you have a topic or something that you would like to see discussed or addressed here, please submit that. Please let us know. We'd like to look into it and just see if it's something that we can cover for 2022. So just in wrapping up, wanted to, nothing too long here. Just wanted to share some of what we were looking forward to and prayerful for 2022. We appreciate your support. Appreciate all of you who have been listening and who have shared the podcast. And just thank you so much for your support through the first season and 2021. We look forward to your continued support, encouragement, and prayer in 2022. So be sure to check with us every Monday. We'll be dropping new episodes, typically with a special guest to cover various topics surrounding loving God, loving people, and loving truth. We also periodically will drop Freestyle Friday episodes where if I do have a guest, we'll be talking with them a little bit extra after the initial interview to just talk a little bit about what God's been doing in their life lately. So always excited about those episodes. So that you don't miss an episode, be sure to subscribe on your favorite podcast platform. You can leave us a review and share the podcast with friends and family. As I said before, you can also check us out on our website, deedandtruthpodcast.com. You can check out the latest episode, leave us a review, and like I said, leave us a voicemail. You can also connect with us on social media. So you can find us on Twitter by searching @deed_truth, or on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube by searching Deed and Truth Podcast. We look forward to connecting with you, and thanks again for listening. Until next time.